There have always been questionable figures online, but with today's streamers, it seems like that's all there is. There's no better example of this than Clavvicular, the new young face teaching the youth about looksmaxing and how to ascend to a Chad. While this sounds relatively harmless, the reality is far from it. From bone smashing to literal substance use, Clav is actively broadcasting methods that most would agree should never be considered, especially when your targeted audience is a bunch of teens. But despite this, he is still pushed by every algorithm, making him more influential with no intervention. Today, we take a look at the rapid descent of streamer culture, exactly how it's affecting the youth, and why streamers like Clavvicular are being amplified despite their controversial ways. By the end of this video, you will likely agree that streamer culture must be stopped. While most influencers build their brand on jokes or drama, Braden Peters, widely known as Clavvicular, built his platform using a far more unorthodox method, looksmaxing. Considering my viewer demographic, most of you likely have no idea what I am talking about. Good for you. Looksmaxing is pretty much an online community focused on teaching young men how to maximize their appearance to gain social leverage. The subculture has gained a reputation for utilizing some extreme methods to achieve the coveted Chad look. Clavvicular is most famous for popularizing this subculture in streamer culture. He saw his rise to fame through his extreme dedication to this looksmaxing. He became known in online chat rooms for sharing the highly unconventional methods he used to achieve his look. He often discussed utilizing unapproved, questionable methods to suppress his appetite, and documented his use of synthetic enhancers that severely altered his appearance. He even popularized the concept of bone smashing, openly admitting to striking his own jaw with tools in an attempt to reconstruct his facial bones.
Real hard, and what this is doing is just creating microfractures, and according to Wolff's law, the bone is going to grow back stronger. And not only that, but you're also getting a lot of inflammation and swelling, so it makes your cheekbones look a lot bigger, so you get like an acute boost before you go to the club.
While this sounds completely illogical to normal folks, the reality is, this exact rhetoric made him desirable to a young demographic. Many kids tend to become self-conscious in their teen years. Their appearance is rapidly changing each day, and they are forced to interact with other teens. This leads to many of them feeling they need to meet a certain beauty standard to be desirable or accepted. They could only wish for a solution that promises to make them more attractive. Clavvicular was offering just that solution and used himself as the example to prove it worked. He showed his overnight transformation from an awkward teen to a confident Chad. This is what made him an overnight sensation amongst young viewers. He capitalized on teen insecurities and offered a solution he could monetize. Suddenly, everyone wanted to know how he achieved this drastic transformation. Clavvicular eventually managed to successfully popularize these questionable techniques amongst his huge following. The only problem is, these techniques were not only far from harmless, but also made teens' insecurities worse. Besides the bone smashing and the enhancers, Clavvicular has openly admitted to using highly irregular methods that most doctors would label unsafe.
Man, I'm gonna do math. Bro, I already did math. That's why I'm so excited.
For example, he admits to using highly restricted, non-prescribed substances for weight control. He has named several different substances he has used, and I am not just talking about sports enhancers or diet pills. I'm talking about severe, street-level narcotics. He admitted to using these substances essentially as a hunger suppressant to keep himself slim. Now, while I don't believe he's literally advising his followers to copy him, by broadcasting this on live streams, he's basically doing just that. Soon, it was not just his diet and health advice that were questionable. His antics were too. Eventually, Clavvicular, like every other streamer, resorted to drama and controversy to boost his popularity. If he wanted to become even more famous, he needed to escalate his antics. He quickly mastered the art of scripting real-world chaos, shifting from looksmaxing to drama to create viral trending moments. All throughout 2026, we have seen prime examples of how far he was willing to go. It all started in December of 2025, shortly after he became popular. During a live stream, he documented himself hitting someone with his Cybertruck. It all happened after a stream sniper was essentially following him around, trying to rage bait him. At one point, the guy is seen standing in front of his car before tumbling off as Clavvicular tries to drive off. It's important to note that it was eventually determined that Clavvicular was not necessarily at fault, but while most creators would view this incident as a serious liability, he decided to use it as viral content instead. He live streamed the whole encounter, and the footage was immediately clipped and reposted across thousands of accounts. When he realized just how much more popular this made him, things only got questionably worse after this. Just 1 month later, he escalated his antics by manufacturing a highly orchestrated spectacle. He was recorded at a Miami Beach nightclub associating with Andrew Tate and a bunch of other high-polarizing internet figures. This moment went completely viral when the group was filmed rapping along to Kanye's banned song. This orchestrated viral moment forced the venue to issue public apologies and take action against the group. But for Clavvicular, the backlash was exactly the point. He was cultivating a highly specific reputation, and the audience could not stop watching. From here, he was seen getting into physical altercations in the streets, setting up ambushes against other streamers, and even illegally using a deceased alligator for target practice.
Braden Eric Peters, who goes by the name Clavvicular, faces criminal charges for firing an alligator while live streaming.
He actually got arrested for that stunt and had to take a plea deal. But it was a specific situation that shows how critically damaging his influence could be. Like I mentioned earlier, Clavvicular would routinely talk about his substance use on live streams, admitting to constantly ingesting them. This culminated in the incident that happened in April of 2026. While broadcasting live from Miami, Clavvicular experienced a severe medical emergency. He had previously admitted to ingesting a mixture of substances, and viewers watched live as his condition worsened, leading to a sudden end to the stream and his immediate hospitalization. It was eventually reported that he took too many substances, which caused him to become severely ill. While most would assume he would take this as a serious wake-up call, the reality is he utilized this situation for content. Upon his release, he posted about the incident online, actively cultivating sympathy and using the moment to further condition his audience. While everything else he pushed was already questionable, this was the moment his content became absolutely destructive to the youth. Here he was actively bragging about the exact techniques that put him in the hospital. It is fair to assume he has influenced others to follow in his ways. If his teachings led him to this conclusion, what do you think it's doing to his followers? But while Clavvicular is guilty of pushing this content, the big social media sites are guilty of platforming him. Since the very beginning, he should have been prevented from pushing this rhetoric. From the start, he was promoting highly questionable methods unchecked with no intervention. Everything from bone smashing to substance use, yet the algorithms kept pushing him onto new feeds. Instead of intervening, it seems like they only amplified his message. So why do the biggest platforms on the internet continue to push someone like Clavvicular? You would think a creator broadcasting his own medical emergencies and legal issues would be seen as a massive liability. While most people assume these social media companies have strict guidelines to protect young users, the reality is their systems are designed to prioritize one single thing: keeping you hooked. It all comes down to keeping eyeballs on the screen. Clavvicular figured out early that extreme behavior guarantees people will click and watch. When viewers see someone broadcasting highly questionable methods or having a public collapse, they simply cannot look away. The platform sees millions of users glued to their screens, and instead of intervening, the system simply pushes the video to even more feeds. This raises a massive question. Should we put the blame directly on the tech companies for allowing this? Or should the blame remain firmly on streamer culture? We all know these platforms are incredibly quick to suppress any video that goes against their guideline. If a regular channel makes a minor mistake, their distribution is immediately restricted. But when an influencer is highly viral and clearly a systematic liability, the platform suddenly turns a blind eye. They are actively allowing an environment where keeping users on the app completely overrides the well-being of their youngest demographic. Because of this exact system, Clavvicular was allowed to become a highly detrimental figure. He was permitted to literally promote substance use and deforming your own face on live broadcasts without any real pushback. Instead of restricting his account, the platforms actively helped him reach more people. The algorithms pushed his content, big streamers collaborated with him, and even mainstream platforms interviewed him. They all gave him a voice to spew his antics. Now, he has literally popularized an extremely detrimental culture that is already affecting millions of impressionable viewers. And this right here is the exact foundation that modern streaming culture is built on. It is an endless cycle of escalation. Creators quickly realize that normal content is not enough to satisfy the algorithm anymore. To stay relevant and keep the money rolling in, they have to constantly script real-world chaos. They are forced to take things to absolute extremes just to shock their audience and hold their attention for as long as possible. The system demands the extreme, and creators like Clavvicular are more than willing to supply it, no matter how detrimental the real-world consequences become. For the last few years, we have watched this rapid escalation. Year after year, things only get worse and worse. Streamers did anything for views, to the point we got to Clavvicular, a lost 20-year-old who's leading others in a horrible direction. This is what streamer culture is rewarding. Now, Clavvicular's teachings aren't going to help anyone. The reality is, they only will make things worse. While looking your best isn't necessarily bad, the way Clavvicular achieved it is. People should be focused on living a healthy life and being the best versions of themselves, not destroying their health to meet an unrealistic beauty standard. When I hear people like Clavvicular talk about how you can only get a girl if you're a Chad, it lets me know how inexperienced he is and how much this is all an act. It's clear he has no idea how the real world works. It's a direct result of growing up in that streamer culture he's now a part of. He believes what he sees on streams is real life. The people in those environments don't represent the rest of the world. The truth is, his content only works because it targets a young, impressionable audience, and that's what makes things worse. He knows that he's exploiting teenage insecurities. Yet, he chooses to make himself more and more controversial. Streamer culture has reached a point of complete structural failure. Clavvicular stands as the ultimate product of a system designed to manufacture virality at any cost. We are looking at a digital ecosystem that actively conditions young viewers to accept severe physical compromise and scripted chaos as the baseline for success. While these tech companies project an image of community guidelines and user protection, the reality is they prioritize algorithmic retention above all else. They are perfectly willing to distribute highly detrimental rhetoric to millions of impressionable teens if it keeps the metrics climbing. What is highly revealing is that Clavvicular has now become a manager for girls who post on the subscription site that starts with an O. Not only is he introducing young men into looksmaxing, but now he's pushing girls into selling their beauty online as content. I literally made a video revealing exactly how that company systematically exploited millions. If you want to see that, watch this video right now. For those who want to further support the channel, check out my Patreon. For $3, you get access to over 60 exclusive videos not available anywhere else. These videos are different because I don't have to worry about what I can and cannot say. If you like my content and want to join the movement, join me on Patreon. Another way to show your support is by liking and, more importantly, hyping this video. Your hype gets this video seen by more people who need this information. Also, make sure to subscribe with notifications on so you get updated on every single upload. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.